Oh, guys, good, you're here. I am so excited. Guess what? I hope this isn't about your podcast again. Why, did you finally listen to it?
Before we start this podcast, let me invite you to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, YouTube, or any podcaster. I'm such a cute. All right, everybody, quiet on the set. The Groomer Next Door take one. To the audience. In 3, 2, 1. Action! And he is your host, my mommy and daddy, Chris and Stella Green.
Hello, Pups and Kittens, and welcome to episode 111 of the Groomer Next Door. I am your co-host, Chris Green. Sitting next to me, as always, is the fabulous Sarah.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Hey. What's up?
Well, it's nice. It's nice to be sitting here recording and not, well, freezing for one.
Oh my gosh, it's so nice. Not to be bone chilling. I know quite a few other people are sitting under snow right now. We're sorry. We feel your pain.
We do. Man, where to start? You know, I'm just kind of glad just to sit here. Let's just go with that. I'm just glad to be sitting here just recording.
This week has been extremely busy.
And annoying.
And yet not busy. It's really weird.
We're definitely going into that in just a second. Yeah, that's for sure. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
I'm just stalling, I guess.
I can kind of see that.
Yeah.
Well, it's a little weird. There's a lot of things going on around us right now that isn't normal.
Yeah, it's
We're
a little
actually
off.
recording a tad bit earlier than usual, so it's a little more busy than we're used to.
And it's a little bit noisier than we're used to as well. Claire, can you get out of the control room and actually quiet down the audience? My goodness, you riled them up a little bit too much. All right, let's dive into the weekly roundup.
The weekly roundup, yeehaw.
All right, so as Sarah just mentioned, hi.
Hi.
I did that on purpose. As Sarah had mentioned, it had been a very busy week, and on the same side, not so much. Like a lot of people, we went through our, hectic kind of weather week, so that kind of derailed us. And
even hectic. It was. We were going to either get a really, really, really bad snowstorm,
right,
or ice and snow, or hardly anything.
Which is funny because the storm that's hitting DC and the East Coast right now is the same storm that we were supposed to have.
Yeah.
And the part about it is everybody was just like, we're in real trouble right now, and they were preparing for the worst, which you have to.
And we did as well, because
Yeah.
we are so far booked out, and I'll explain why later. But we are so booked out.
Because we're good.
That goes without saying, but is that we're so far booked out. We can't just reschedule dogs for a later date.
Right.
Because by that time, they're already ready for another groom.
Right.
So you can't do that. We feel so strongly, and we have such an obligation to our customers to make sure that their pets are taken care of, especially when it wasn't their fault. They couldn't get their dog in. It was the storm or whatnot.
Right.
But every day we're closed is we're one more day behind.
And there's no picking that up. So that's the hard part about grooming is it's not like, if I miss today, well, no big deal. I can make it up later. Whether it's just throw a little bit of extra time, take a little bit less of a break, whether it's a regular lunch break, a poop break, or whatever kind of break. It makes me think of the meme I just saw on Facebook.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
Yeah, but any of those kind of breaks, you could just say, well, I'll just kind of, put in the extra, catch myself up. We can't do that.
No, because we are already booked so far that we already take a very minimal lunch.
Yeah.
Just
sometimes
enough,
not even at all.
Yeah. We pack our lunch to the point where we can actually stand and eat while we're in the middle of doing something. you know, the yogurts and applesauce, stuff like that, so that we can still maintain our nourishment.
And the actual, you know, like I'll have raviolis or spaghetti or meatloaf. I'll have all kinds of different things. So do you.
Something easy,
Hearty,
quick,
but
and
sometimes we
filling.
don't get those. Sometimes it's just like, let's just go with the other stuff.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take my yogurt that'll keep me full, and I'll be so busy I can't think about being hungry.
Right.
It's been a lot of that. Or we get a 15-minute break, and that 15 minutes you gotta heat up your lunch and eat it.
Yeah.
And
Try to put it in an IV bag, maybe just, you know, take it that way.
yeah, right.
Some days you just wish you could. And of course, you know, then comes down to the problem. The big problem is we're the only people who do big dogs.
And that's the other spot where the reason why we are so far booked out, and this is typically unheard of in this area for groomers.
I think
because
a lot
all
of
the
areas
snow, well, I mean, yeah, when I worked in California, we had slow spots. January was always the slowest because people got their very first Christmas shopping bill.
too. Yeah.
The credit card came in, Fido doesn't get to go get groomed.
Right. Yeah. Something has to give.
That $40, $50, $60 is going to go pay my credit card.
Right.
So,
And especially on the smaller dogs that are like 35, that's typically a minimum balance on a lot of credit cards. So that 35, it's like, well, I don't bring my dog to the groomer and pay this month's credit card bill, and it makes all the sense in the world. A lot of you probably are thinking to yourself, oh wow, I never thought of it that way, and I've done it. That's exactly what happens. We didn't see that. It has not slowed up for us since the holidays. It accelerated and stayed there.
And anytime we have somebody cancel or not show, we take it, and we take it as a relaxed day.
Yeah, when it's like, let's scramble and get somebody in. No, it's like, no, thank goodness, we're going to actually get out at 5 today.
And there has been multiple groomers in our area who stopped grooming large dogs.
And I can understand the reason. There's
No.
a good no. I'll give the reason because it does make sense. In one sense, a big dog takes a lot longer to wash, to dry,
Well,
and to get ready and to actual groom.
if you're young enough, you should be able to groom the large dogs.
But if
I can see, like, Carol, when I worked for her, she was in her 60s.
Yeah.
I can see her not doing a golden doodle.
Yeah.
I can see her not doing my Newfoundland.
but you know that in the grooming world, quicker is easier, and you get a couple small dogs that are a lot easier to do.
More money.
It's more money that way. So they're thinking of it in a financial premise. And a lot of times,
And I
let's be
think it's
realistic,
so screwed up.
they're still harder to deal with than a small dog.
Well, not really.
Strength-wise, yeah. I mean, if a big dog's gonna pull, put a shepherd and a Yorkie side by side. Which one's gonna have more strength to pull?
I'd rather do the shepherd
I
than
would
the
too.
Yorkie.
I would too. But that's the difference, though. In their mind, I would rather do the Yorkie because it's simple, to the most part. It's not so much pulling. If it moves, it's not a tug that's gonna rip your arm off. Personally, I'm with you. I like the big dogs. I would rather only work on big dogs than small dogs. That's kind of where we are. I like the big dogs.
But they are stopped doing the large dogs in multiple grooming salons, and one grooming salon is only doing just a few, and even at that, it's not many. We're the only one in our area that's equipped for large dogs, and so therefore most of our morning appointments are taken because we only do large dogs in the morning, and it's been a little difficult with that.
A little?
Yeah.
A lot.
Two big dogs in the morning is our max.
Yeah, but we've been walking in. It seems like each day we'll walk in with 2 large dogs, and really, some days I can see 3.
Well,
Up to 3 regular dogs. Even Cocker Spaniels, which take a long time to dry.
okay, so not only are we the only groomers in town who do large dogs, we're also the only groomers in town that take care of hyper-aggressive dogs.
Yes, and that's the other part. The other problem
Is that we are always stressed out because we got a biting dog. Every time you touch a biting dog, you don't know if you're going to lose a finger. And I'm not being sarcastic here. It's serious. Some dogs are big enough to where they can remove a finger. And then there's
Which
some
I
dogs.
will. Well, I'm going to go into that and take a pet peeve for a walk.
And then there's some dogs that are strong enough where you can lose nerve damage.
Yeah.
If they bite your fingers or they bite your hand. And God forbid them biting you in the face.
Oh boy. Yeah.
So it's extremely important to get your dog started in grooming early so they don't get this way.
I think that's right after picking the right groomer. One of our foundations, our mission statements that we started with this is first, pick the right groomer, and second, get your dog acclimated and socialized to grooming. That's been the right off the bat.
You know, whole vote early, vote often. Groom early, groom often is exactly the way it needs to be. The
But
dogs
that just
need
sounds
to get...
that sounds like a groomer just trying to make money.
No. I have a thing with my customers here. We do. I'm talking to you like you're not part of this.
But I
I
answer just like the regular average person would too.
So I have customers that come in. I said, look, the dog needs it. I'm not going to charge for it. I have customers that come in that the nails have grown so long.
Yeah.
Is if the owner teams up with me and brings their dog in every 2 weeks to have just a little bit filed off.
Yep.
Each time, I won't charge you. And then when you get groomed, it's all included. I don't have to deal with it when you get groomed, so therefore, it's all done.
Well, that's part of another thing that's part of the grooming that's all inclusive is it's nails, glands expressed, ears clean, ear hair pulled if needed, depending on the breed, of course. It gets a full spa treatment. It's not like here's a tack on, here's a tack on. Well, yes, they should.
Because when we first started
I was
shadowing,
going to say this, yeah.
anal glands were expressed for $7.
Yes.
$7. If it's not done, that is hundreds of dollars of vet bills.
Yeah.
And then, you still have to pay that $7 a month for preventative.
Well, 6 to 8 weeks, depending on what you're
But
actually.
still, $7 for every 6 weeks
Right.
to get them done. That is ridiculous. It takes a groomer less than 30 seconds to get him completely expressed.
Yeah.
And then they used to charge extra for nail grinding.
Right.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't want myself clawed to death either. So I'm going to grind those nails. It takes but a minute.
Yeah. It's okay. Okay.
No, I got another part to
Okay.
this. Let me get through it.
I
And
can
then
argue with you on all these.
People want the dog's ear hair pulled, and some places charge extra for it.
Right.
Like the nail grinding when we first started Shadowwood was $5 extra, and then the glands were $7.
That's $12.
That we now include in every groom. We also took Shadowwood's pricing and we raised it up to
But
average.
that was also because it was actually meeting competitors' prices too. It wasn't a matter of we're gonna raise because we add more. We actually just kind of lined up with our competitors, but we still
that
give more.
and the fact that we're better.
Well, yeah.
I can
Recognize,
say that.
yeah.
No, just our skill is better.
But
No need recognition or anything like that.
I go with it.
We are better. Whether not a single person in the world ever wrote an article on us, we are better.
Yeah, but it's always nice to know that, okay, I know I'm good at what I do, but I'm also publicly recognized for this. So it's like, it's not self-expressed, I'm great, I'm wonderful, I'm creative. No, it's people say it. So you're paying for reputation.
Either way, I know we're good, whether we had those people or not.
Right, it helps.
And I know word of mouth. Oh my gosh, you did so much better to my dog than anybody ever has.
there's
that
a
right there,
common thing I hear every week.
That's a common thing that we hear all the time. Well, the only time you ever start charging extra is for like
teeth brushing, because there's a solution.
Yeah, teeth brushing because you're actually using a product that costs money.
Yes.
I honest to goodness we shouldn't pay extra for shampoos.
No,
Your
I don't
dog
like
needs
that.
a shampoo.
Yeah.
It needs oatmeal. So I'm not gonna, go and profit off of the fact that your dog is got medical needs.
Right. If
That's
you
not
need
right.
an herbal, if you need a hypo or medicated or even down to a blueberry. I like that one, actually. I
That's really
really
nice.
like that one. I like the smell. It doesn't leave a smell on the dog. I like the smell that you actually can smell when you're doing it. It's really nice. I'm with you. I wouldn't charge extra.
Other charges extra that I will agree with, but you got to make sure that the groomer's being honest here.
Yes, I know where you're
is
going.
Special handling fees.
Yes.
There are quite a few dogs that we have that do have special handling fees, and it's a touchy subject here. It's the fact that since you didn't get your dog socialized early and worked with early, it is your fault
Yes.
for your dog biting the groomer. So therefore, you deserve to pay extra for that because you're putting someone else through it because you wanted the dog to look like a puppy for as long as you can.
Or
you were selfish enough
Yeah.
to not take your dog to a groomer at 8 weeks old, 9 weeks old. Or you were misinformed that dogs don't need to get groomed until they're 9 months old.
Right.
So special handling fees are one of our number one fee that we have is because we do so many hyper-aggressive dogs.
And it's a necessity to have this, too.
Because if we were to get injured, they're not going to pay for us.
Nope.
A customer's not going to pay for us.
We take a huge risk every time.
So a little $5 fee
Yeah.
is nothing compared to what our bills would be if we went to the doctor because of something bad happened.
Yeah.
And nobody else would want to touch your dogs. Because if we can't touch your dogs,
Nobody
I guarantee
can.
you nobody around
Yeah.
can.
Yeah. And
That is a guarantee. That is not being arrogant or
no,
cocky. That
I
is
could
a
film.
guarantee.
I could film what we're talking about. And the handling that has to go into this is not something that you can think, oh, anybody can do it. No, it's not.
But you want to make sure that the handling fee or aggression fee or whatnot is put on because the dog whipped around once.
And you always explain, you articulate every ounce of it, of what their behavior was, what happened, when it happened, how it happened. And it's not like, oh, well, it's avoidable. No, they're all unavoidable circumstances.
And then sometimes dogs get bitey, because a normal groomer will lift up the leg to get the sanitary done. Well, if the customer doesn't tell me their dog's legs hurt and the dog seems
Right.
perfectly fine, and you go to try to touch the leg and then they whip around,
Right.
that's showing aggression. Well, if it's hurt, that's what's going to happen. So therefore, I'm not going to charge you for it.
Right.
But if they're doing it just to do it,
Right.
that's a different thing.
And
then we'll work through it too. We will help change this dog's mindset from being mean and mad and angry to, well, I guess this really isn't a big deal. Fine, just get it done.
Well, what you're saying is that you're talking about educating the dog, not educating the owner,
training
educating
him.
the dog, training him. But it's a matter of, okay, this is what I'm gonna do, and you have to have a specific movement. Your movement is key to everything, and you keep it to that same movement the next time and the next time, and then they realize, okay, this isn't so bad.
Well,
But then what happens is that if that dog goes to another groomer, like
they have a different process.
They're going to have a different process, and this is where grooming hopping, and I'm going to talk about that in a second, is just the worst idea you can have.
Right. It's important for every groomer to have their own way. Like I trained you to. At first, when you first started, you were jumping from place to place
Yeah.
to place to place. Well, when you do that, the dog never learns your routine. But if you focus on how you want things to be done, whether you start at the front, work your way back. Start at the back, work your way front.
See, I don't see how people could start with the front and work to the back. I like working back to front, like
Some
you
people
do.
like doing the faces first.
Yeah,
Some groomers, they like to enjoy rounding and making the face cute, and then the body just kind of comes to the end. But I like to start at the back right leg and go to the front right leg, go to the back left leg, go to the front left leg.
And that's how I've moved too, but
then the
that's
head.
that's because of you.
And then the tail.
Yeah.
And so my dogs turn. They know when I'm done. I'm like, okay, give me your paw. And they know, okay, well, all right, it's this paw. because I've seen him so many times, and it's consistent. I'm not a fly-by-night groomer. I'm not going to be here one day and gone next. And I'm in it for a long haul. So I got quite a few customers that have been grooming their dogs, either second generation.
I was gonna say second, third gen, yeah.
Or well, right now it's all second gen.
You sometimes
second
can
gen.
get a third because there could be an unfortunate.
There is a third.
I'm
gen.
on a second gen with the Great Dane,
You're on
and
second.
that's a sad situation, but
Yeah.
it happens.
So they get used to you. It's important to go to the same groomer as long as that groomer's good. I'm not saying keep going to the same groomer that hurts your dog just because it's been seeing him for years.
Yeah.
I've had many customers come to me, well, my dog's had the same groomer, but something happened. Well, yeah,
No, it's happened every time, trust me.
Or that groomer went through a very traumatic time in their life, and their entire mood has changed.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, they don't want to be there. All of a sudden, they don't have their patience like they should have. Life changes in a groomer can definitely happen. The more stable a groomer's life is the more stable their career is too.
And if they have a podcast, it really helps.
Bump, bump. So,
But back to the week itself. I mean, we would
this
come
is
in.
kind of like main story and weekly roundup at the same time.
Yeah, in a sense, yeah. No, like with this week alone. Yeah, we're kind of going backwards a little bit this week. With like this week, we've walked in multiple times this week to 2 big dogs and 3 medium-sized dogs, or multiple.
All 6 biters.
Oh, I remember that day. That was where I was going to
Yeah.
go. We had a very aggressive day.
We had one large
You
dog.
don't want that.
One large dog, 5 small dogs, all mad.
Okay, but that one large
all
dog that
aggressive.
was aggressive was not showed 0 aggression for me and showed none for you. Did it? That was Friday. Friday? Yeah, it was it was Friday. Yeah. Border? No, it wasn't Border Collie. Oh gosh.
I'm so lost.
I'm lost on the dog. Anyway, it's a biter, and it set perfectly for me when I needed to move, and it moved when I needed to move. You didn't have any issues. That was the highlight for that day.
Yeah, and the groomers or the owner's like, what?
Yeah. That's what we face. I mean, this week I'll say it with our snow day that shut down a lot of places. Schools closed, everything shut down. Honestly, it wasn't a necessity, but we got pounded that day, and it was a hard one because I knew that everybody was off, and I knew that was supposed to be our day to kind of decompress, and we didn't get that. I was like, oh boy. Everybody seemed to be out. Other salons shut down. Everybody was really kind of like, well, we're preparing for the worst, and we were still chugging along.
Oh yeah, because we're good. That's what they do. The
It
ones
wasn't
that
that.
aren't
It
good,
wasn't that. I was
stay
just.
home
I expected it to just kind of be like, well, we're there's nothing we can do, but man. So.
What's nice is that the snowplows, they really took care of their streets.
Yeah. The road.
They
Well,
were-
I mean, even
MoDOT.
our area where we're at was a little rough, but not terrible.
It took them a while to get there,
Yeah.
but
I mean, it was one guy who couldn't drive and went off the road. But that was completely on his own. That was all his own error. That was human
we
error.
have a customer that comes in, and I love his dogs. They're Dobermans. I absolutely love his dogs. Sweet. They're just gorgeous to look at. They're a little high strung, but all's good. And I'm watching a senior citizen get into an SUV.
Yes. So his dogs. Keep
But
going.
anyway, his dogs are great. But he
This is why you
is
don't
not
put. This
very-
is why you don't put a window in a studio, because then you end up looking.
I'm scared because there's a little old lady.
Okay, keep going.
Okay. But he's
Gotta keep you on
kind
track.
of opposite of his dogs. He's not very nice, and even though he said some pretty mean stuff to us, he still comes back.
And that's very common, though.
Yeah, he's had disagreements and such, but he also said that he'll never go anywhere else. And yet his comments are still very gruff. But I guess he was mad because someone didn't give him a bag from boarding, so he had to come back in. Well, he took off out of our driveway like a bat out of hell and slid off into the ditch.
Womp, womp, womp.
So he was trying to gun it forward to get himself out of the ditch. And one thing you know is you go out the same way you came in. And so
I like how he hiked back up to the actual shop.
Because that's not an easy hike, especially in the ice
Not
and
in
snow.
ice. Tail in between legs. I need a tow truck. That was quite comical.
It has to be local. It can't be anything far.
It was quite
And
comical.
it's like, Raleigh doesn't have any local...
I learned something that day. I was surprised to find out.
Well, every time we needed AAA to come out, they came from St. Roberts, a 30-mile hike, or a 30-mile drive. Anywho.
Yeah, it was funny.
And he finally was able to get out of the ditch once he realized he could back out.
Yeah, but I heard him.
Well, he got out.
Yeah, well, yeah. All right, let's move on to taking Pet Peeve for a walk.
Come on, Peeve. Wanna go for a walk?
All right, so as we had said about dangerous dogs, this is my pet peeve. Pet peeve of the week for me was one dog came in, terrible behavior, pretty much one of the worst behaved dogs, and very rare to get the outcome that this dog had. But they're considered groomer hoppers, and they go to a groomer. They know their dog has issues. And what they do is that they go long enough until the groomer can't actually handle the dog anymore, and then they're told, I'm sorry, we can't handle your dog, and you're no longer going to be allowed to bring your dog here, which surprisingly happens quite a lot. More so than you actually would believe. We get people coming in all the time saying, oh, I used to go to so-and-so, but they said that they can't groom my dog anymore because of its behavior. And, there's multiple ways around this. Unfortunately, like with this particular dog, its mentality is not of the, how do I even put this delicately? It just wants to do what it wants to do.
I don't even remember which dog this is.
I'll as I go through the story, you'll remember.
All right.
I think you had your migraine that day. You might have. Yeah, I think you did. Anyway, I'm washing a dog. Doesn't want to be bothered. Okay, it's a small enough dog. You can work with that. It's when they're big dogs that's when it gets really, really difficult. But again, I'll take the big dog over the small dog who has this personality, because the big dog, it will show aggression, but not like a small dog. A small dog will do the Napoleon complex, and it will go completely bat crazy on you. So I got through the bath, no big deal. But then I end up to the drying. Now, a lot of dogs have issues with drying. Drying is an art form. And let me explain why. If you're slow to your movements, you don't rush your hand so you hear whoosh, 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 whoosh all the time.
It's not a human hair salon where you're going to, move it constantly and real fast.
Yeah, you gotta be, delicate, because, you have a smaller body on the table. Even if it's a big dog, it's still smaller than, a human a lot of times. So I'm very precise when it comes to drying. Legs, body, and I leave the head for last. Pretty much the same as grooming, and this is all thanks to Sarah. Actually, I always did the drying like this. I always went body to head, not the other way around. But there's always that method. So I'm drying this dog. I already knew it was an aggressive dog. I knew it had issues. I knew what the owner was, their backstory. But man, I got to the head, and it was just like, I'm not going to allow this. I'm not going to allow this. And let me be very specific on drying a head. I know a lot of groomers like to put the actual dryer right in the head, and you can, what happens is you have this air being blown into their face like a wind tunnel, and it can literally look like the dog's face is actually the skin is being pulled off when you put the dryer in their face. So you don't do it. So a lot of dogs tend to have that phobia of the situation, which could have been a possibility, but I don't put the dryer in their face. I go under their chin, their top of their head, and let the actual air itself work its way through. Well, even with that and slow movement, this dog was not going to have it. And it was small enough so it was going to find its way to get himself loose right there on my table, which I have control of the situation at all times. But man, he just went bananas trying to bite. He was going at me like he was going to get me, and he could have. And I always have another lead with me, so I was able to lasso him to, save the situation, save myself and the situation. Of course, he had a kennel drive, and he got upcharged because he's an aggressive dog. And there's no way around this. This is not he's aggressive because he has, like Sarah mentioned earlier, where he has, bad leg or, an ailment, pain in any way. Pain in any way. He just, it's his way or no way. And if you go anything against him, he'll attack you. So, obviously he wasn't stressed out. He didn't evacuate his bowels or anything like that, but his aggression was at the full. Perception-wise, he was looking for it. You could hear the clamping down. He was just going.
Yeah, because the muzzles that we use.
He wasn't muzzled, sadly enough.
Oh. Okay, I thought you said you muzzled him.
Nope, couldn't get to a muzzle in time. Yeah, I was gonna actually get the muzzle on him, but I had to put the lead on him, get him off the table safely, get him to ground, and then I walked him in, got the muzzle, but trying to get the muzzle on him, no. Every time I tried to get around him, he would bite, so it was impossible.
I know it sounds like I don't remember this dog. I do, but the big problem here is I was fighting a hell of a migraine that day.
Yeah, I was working pretty much.
So bad that while you were washing, it was the same day Lady came in, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it was. Yeah.
Lady, the rough collie.
There you go.
She came in, lasty dog kind of thing, and I couldn't do anything but go to the car, lay down in the cool car, and
yeah, I was just getting all of our morning dogs all handled.
I'll tell you what, folks. Grooming with the side effects of a migraine really sucks.
Yes, it does. So,
the show must go on.
Outcome of the day is I didn't get bit. Dog is, was safe. Nothing happened to dog. Again, didn't over stress out. But the pet peeve is if you're gonna groomer hop, you're hurting your dog, but you're literally working with a deadly weapon.
Yeah.
And you're a terrible pet owner. And I will literally go out and say you're terrible at what you're doing. Don't own a dog, because honestly, sooner or later, you're going to get somebody hurt because you just don't care.
Or they only bring their dog in once a year to get groomed. They get the dog groomed and then allow it to mat up all year long, and then come in. The dog's not used to it because it's only once every 11 months they get groomed.
And it's not socialized during this time.
It's not socialized. It doesn't leave the house.
It's given everything it wants because it demands it, and the owner's like, okay.
Oh, it's so cute. Oh, look, he's showing his teeth because I'm trying to, get his toy away.
It's playful. It's all play until someone gets hurt.
Yeah, it's not cute. And don't be shocked if this is how you're treating your animal, and then they go to the groomer, and then the groomer says it's aggressive.
Yeah, I'm not going to handle your dog. Yeah.
And then another thing that's going on in this area that's my pet peeve.
Oh, cool. We have a double pet peeve of this week.
Once you're done.
No, go ahead. That was my story.
My pet peeve is other groomers, which that list is very long, but this particular one is that they tell customers, oh, your dog was great. Oh, yes. Such a good boy. Oh, no, he's great. And then turn their back and like, I never want to see this dog again. And then they come see me and they're like, oh, well, they said that he was really, really good. And then I have to come to the customer and I tell a customer, your dog is highly aggressive.
What?
What'd you do to him? Because
Right.
the other groomer didn't have that problem. Well,
Right.
if the other groomer didn't have that problem, why are you grooming hopping right now?
Yes.
Why are you doing the hop of the groomer? I mean, it should be a dance. And one of those horrible, like Macarena
But
dances.
if you ever
that-
notice that they'll be gone for 3, 4, 6 months, maybe a year, and all of a sudden they show up again,
And like, oh hey, it's Fluffy's time again. I'm
and you're
like,
like, no, Fluffy's been groomed within the last 2 months. There's no way that a year ago this
then-
was that.
Don't lie to your groomer when they say, oh, you're her favorite. She always loves coming to see you. And then you can obviously tell by your records that they haven't been in here for a year. It's a Maltese, and it looks like it's only been the hair hasn't been growing for more than 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, don't lie, and
It's so
expect a upcharge as well.
Some places, and we're not one of them, but some places will upcharge out of spite.
Yeah.
They'll know, well, you went somewhere else, I'm going to charge you $10, $20 more.
Well, I mean, for groomer hopping dogs, we do charge extra. I do put a $4 extra charge on there, but it's not each time. But they're not gonna pay the same prices of our local.
Oh yeah, loyal customers.
customers.
Yeah, yeah.
And we have 2 Shih Tzus at Groomer Hop. They've been to every single groomer in town.
And
They
around
call
towns.
me first, and I'm always busy. They can never get in same
They
day.
call day of.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they eventually find a groomer that can. A lesser groomer, but still, they can get the dog groomed. And I see pictures online or whatnot that they got their dog groomed. Well, they're not going to spend the $35 price
Right.
as my Shih Tzu that comes and sees me all the time. They're getting bumped up to $38.
Well, what's funny is that you'll see that picture of that dog, or dogs, plural, the same day that they had called. You're like, oh yeah, so they did get into somewhere else. And then it's always funny, we run into them somewhere, and they're like, oh, my dog looked like crap afterwards.
Yep.
Every time.
Yeah, and then one groomer left a comb over because the dog was missing an eye. So instead of grooming the face, like, the dog deserved to, because whether
A
the
comb
eye is
over.
there or not, the dog is gorgeous. The dog's beautiful no matter what. So why you need a comb over so that people don't see it, like they're embarrassed of it, is ridiculous. You trim that face like it has an eye. You don't
A comb over.
A comb over.
I know.
I
know.
I Shih Tzu not.
I know. I
Shih Tzu,
know.
get it?
I got it. I just
I
was
Shih
gonna.
Tzu not.
I was gonna go buy it. Oh god, that was hilarious. Comb
A
over.
comb over.
I remember the picture.
And it's just this, it just looks like hair flopping in front of their eye. And then what's gonna
Oh,
happen?
isn't that so cute?
The hair's gonna grow and then get into its mouth,
Yeah.
and then we do kind of sound trying to get the hair out of their mouth.
And what happens? The owner's like, I can't stand it, and they take a pair of scissors in their house and they
And they
cut.
cut it
Yeah,
themselves.
every time.
Yeah, I mean that particular owner, they came up to us and said sorry.
Yeah.
They said they
and
were
we see
very
them
sorry.
a lot. And I mean, what's cool in some sense in that regards, they know that we're busy, so they kind of go, look, I get it.
You're our first choice.
Yeah, and it is a
What?
trickle down. Crap runs downhill.
Because you never know. It might be a day that a customer got sick and
Oh,
couldn't
yeah.
bring their dogs in,
Oh,
or
yeah.
the dog got sick and couldn't come in. You never know. There might be a chance.
Well, yeah,
What?
you gotta take the risk, but make the appointments ahead of time.
Yeah, right?
All right, let's dive into GND news. All right, this week on GND news, we have 2 stories, as we do. I actually, one of the stories I found to be hysterical. It had the sweet and sour purpose, and the second one is somewhat local, which kind of really gets my blood boiling, and I have a personal opinion, so I will, definitely drop my opinion on it.
Of course. When do you not?
Well, that's why I have a microphone in front of me.
To force more.
To force more of my opinion down everybody's throat. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it.
Hey.
So the first one comes out of St. Louis, Missouri, which is just a stone throw away.
If you can throw far enough,
Well, I'm pretty sure.
100 miles.
Superman can do it, but then it would be a meteor,
Your mom can do it.
probably. But apparently,
says she can.
apparently for the last couple weeks, there's some a-hole that actually is dumping emaciated dogs, like garbage, right by a trash bin. And luckily there has been no death, but they're definitely having to be cared for. A lot of vet bills, a lot of things going on. So we'll start with that one, and then we're gonna go across the country to Los Angeles, California, to a very entertaining story. Unfortunately, the person involved is a real a-hole, but
It's one of those, you can't make these stories up.
you really can't, and that's one of the reasons why I pick some of these stories, because it's like they're so bonehead. You just have to actually talk about it.
Yes.
So let's start off with St. Louis, Missouri. Claire, play that clip.
A dog starving and left for dead by a dumpster. Today, we want to introduce you to Nitro, a dog who is defying the odds and overcoming obstacles. He is just the sweetest thing. Thanks to the help, of course, of Stray Rescue of St. Louis. We've got Randy Grimm here with an update on Nitro.
Well,
so, how is he doing? He's just a sweetheart.
He's doing awesome. I know he looks
I was gonna say,
extremely
yeah,
thin, but,
obviously.
when he was rescued, he couldn't even stand. And also, he almost died because he had severe hypothermia.
Of course.
So for him to be walking around, wagging his tail, and loving on people is huge. So, we just hope, too, that we can find the person that did this.
I was going to say, now, kind of some eerie circumstances here. In just about a week, the second dog that you found in these same conditions.
I was here last Friday with Tasha by the dumpster and bone thin, and now this week I'm here with Nitro. And so it's really sad that people in the city of St. Louis are throwing these guys away with the garbage and treating them like trash.
Exactly, and we want to find these people. So, Stray Rescue, you guys are offering a reward now to help find this person. Tell us about that.
$1,000 reward if you can give us any information. He was rescued on the 3400 block of Montana in South City.
And tell us about the outlook for Nitro. Where's he recovering?
He's recovering at Stray Rescue now, and he's crossed that hurdle from dying to gradually getting better and better, and we all love him, and he'll be ready for a home probably in about a month. Tasha's almost ready, so in about a month.
And they can contact Stray Rescue for that, and they can also donate to help with his medical upkeep as well.
Yeah, it's because of the cold weather, we've been rescuing so many sad cases. I mean, Nitro's just one of many. So our medical bills are about $2.5 million a year because we do the underdogs.
Yeah.
So if you can help us out, that's always awesome.
Okay, well, we wish Nitro the best. We love what you guys are doing over there at Stray Rescue, and of course, we're thinking of Tasha too. So if you guys can help, we'll put those links up for you at fox2now.com so you guys can get in on all of that and help this little guy and hopefully get a new family here soon.
Oh, yeah.
More coming up here on Fox 2 News in the morning right after this.
All right, so as you heard, these guys, they have
Sick.
well,
They're very sick.
well, yes, but the actual organization that's helping, they literally have, in a year's time, the $2.5 million worth of debt because of all of the care and needs that they accumulate with all these dogs and rescues for dogs and cats alike. Now, my opinion I have, and I want you to, definitely weigh in on this as well, but coming from the West Coast, I saw people actually treating dogs a lot better. And the same thing applies on the East Coast. I notice it as well there. They treat dogs and cats and animals so much better than they do in the Midwest. And I don't understand this. Now, some of you may be saying, no, that's a bunch of crap. Well, okay, you might have that opinion, but we also see this stuff a lot more than a lot of people do. We are involved in a lot more than a lot of people are. Situation like today, there's the situation where the cat was killed for no apparent reason, just an a-hole doing this because
They thought to pass the time they're gonna bust out their gun and shoot the cat in the head.
And that's the part that I have a problem with, is I hear more of these situations locally within the state of people just going, oh, gonna pass my time by, putting bullet in a dog or cat's head, and I just think to myself, is it the mentality? What is it that has drawn this part of the country to this uneducated mentality?
Well, they're raised that animals are animals and that's it. There is no soul in an animal, and there is no real need to take care of them. The only ones that you take care of are the ones that make you money.
Yeah.
The livestock.
And
You
even at
take
that,
care of
look
them.
at what they do with the livestock.
But the stuff that you see in the livestock normally happens in the really big, like Tyson chicken farms.
Yeah.
The other farms like that.
Who buy these animals at the stock market? Well, you know what I'm talking about. Well, I think that Tyson.
No, like the big, huge.
Yeah. But
industrial farms is what I'm talking about, not the. Most farms around here are more smaller scale.
Yeah.
They do make money off their livestock.
And some of them
but they take care of them.
But some of them are contracted by these big companies. Is what I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. Go on. Keep going. That's not all? Oh.
You cut me off so that I didn't understand. I forgot where I was going with it.
About how they treat their livestock better.
Well, yeah, because they're making the money off it versus all these dogs and cats where they breed them, and then they're done with them. They make money off of them and then they kill them. That's all there is to it. And unfortunately, in this area, whether it be here, or other states, Arkansas, or whatnot, they don't take care of the ones that don't make them money constantly. There has been even a break in Amish news that the Amish have been accused of puppy mills.
Yeah.
And not breeders, not ones that mark everything down, track everything, but actual puppy mills that they just let them go at it, and whatever comes out, they're going to sell for a couple $100.
Right. Well, that's why Missouri was the #1 leading puppy mill in all of the country for, I think it's still, I mean, I know that they've been cracking down heavily.
Not as much as you think,
but yeah.
Because there's still inroads and stuff like that, and loopholes so they can get through.
Yeah.
But you look at any of these Rolla Deals with Friends places or Craigslist, they're selling these for some ridiculous amount, and all they are mugs.
Yeah.
So then people get all these dogs, and they make money when they can. They make them malnourished because they don't want to spend anything for them. Minimal food, minimal water.
Terrible conditions.
No vet care. And once they get to the point where they're so sick,
they just dump them.
Because they don't want to have to deal with them in their property.
Yeah, and that's where it all circles down to with this situation. It seems like that's been the mentality. It's just poor education when it comes to dogs, or just no lack thereof of decency. And that's the part that pisses me off. As I heard this story, I'm like, you know what? Could be coming from the other side, from East St. Louis, which is, Illinois, obviously, which some people don't even realize that. I didn't know until I was here. I mean, it could be coming from there. It could be coming from any parts of Missouri. This is going on, and it's frustrating because it's like, I look all over the country and I hear all these different stories, and then, with our involvement here, we do see and hear a lot more than a lot of people do. And I'm going, why is it that you can treat your animals so much better in other places, like actual human beings like they are, opposed to this thing that I'm going to throw outside at night?
They're beasts.
Yeah.
And that's the extremely, very, absolutely unfortunate part of everything, is that when they start taking care of them like they're beasts.
Then it's nobody. Yeah. And I mean, I'm hearing this as well. The other that I'm hearing is that animal control is looking for people to inform them if they notice any dogs are left outside during these frigid temperatures. They're literally doing their job at the fullest extent. I mean, they are fully extended. But again, how do you teach people right from wrong if this is all that they've ever known? That's the part that's getting me.
And then people who are they're psychopaths.
Yes.
They have no empathy. They don't have no feeling. They don't care if there's a dog frozen to the concrete.
Nope.
There is no feeling there, and those are the most dangerous for any live person.
Yeah.
Anyone with a heartbeat. That's extremely dangerous. This person, they're sick.
Oh yeah. Well, it's weird because on Netflix now there's a new show, Making a Killer or something like that.
Making of a Murderer.
Making of a Murderer, something like that. I haven't seen it yet. I know it's like a 10-episode doc. Part of me is like, I really want to sit down and watch these, but on the other side, I'm not mentally able to do that because it just frustrates me. It's like, really? You know, you didn't see this coming? I mean, I've seen these before, and they drive me nuts. It's like, I want to watch it because I want to see how many of them started with, you know, pet crimes. You know, how many of them did tortured animals?
A lot of them started
probably
torturing something smaller than themselves.
Yeah, so it's like, I want to see it, but I'm on the other side, I'm going, oh, I don't want to see it. So, all right, moving on. This story made me kind of laugh. Now, I will explain to you guys high-speed pursuits. If you've never witnessed one, you're missing out. Greatest moment in TV can be watching a high-speed pursuit. Of course, that's coming from some place that, you know, literally, I want to say high-speed pursuits were almost the birthplace of Los Angeles. It seemed like that's where it became mainstream.
Well, every time we saw the helicopter over and sirens going by, we're like, oh, another pursuit.
Especially because the 91 freeway was really close to where we live.
Yeah, we never really batted an eye. Okay.
No.
We'll wait 15 minutes before we leave to go on the freeway again.
Yeah, or I'm just going to avoid it for that spot, especially if the helicopter's over. Yeah, right?
I'll take the streets.
So, first, I'm gonna play the clip, and then I have to talk about this. So, Claire, play that clip.
If you didn't see that video the other night, let's show it to you right now. It was really something to watch. Here's some video. This is from the 710 freeway in Long Beach. As you said, Monday night, it followed a pursuit where the driver would not pull over. Police had to use a pit maneuver, actually twice used the pit maneuver. Finally got her out of the car, got her under arrest. But as you can see from that video, there were 6 pit bulls in the car running all over the freeway. You see officers and officials trying their best to corral those dogs. They eventually got all of them and taken in. They went to a shelter over in Long Beach where they're being taken care of now. As far as our latest information, well, it turns out the lady driving that car has a bit of a history with dogs and with pit bulls and was in trouble for her care of a pit bull in the past. It turns out that before that pursuit, she was actually scheduled to be in court last week because of another case here in Orange County. According to Orange County prosecutors, she had a pit bull named Alan. That pit bull had a very bad and injured leg. She failed to get Alan any kind of veterinary care for his injury. She says the dog actually authorities say the dog actually chewed off its own foot, and she still didn't take it to a veterinarian. So that is why she was charged in that case, but she didn't show up in court. When that pursuit happened Monday, she had a warrant out for her arrest for not appearing in court. It turns out, well, now she's got some more charges. Because of that chase, she now has a felony charge, an evading charge. In that case, let's go to some video from today showing her in court. This is that woman, Tiffany Toby. She was in court today. She pled not guilty to these newest charges. This hearing was not for that incident involving that dog that chewed off its own foot. This was the incident Monday night she was in court for. She pled not guilty, but they did bring up bail issues involving both cases. Her bail was scheduled at about $60,000. For now, reporting live in Santa Ana, outside maybe the doghouse, I guess, in some reference form or another. As Glenn said, I'm Chip Yost. We'll send it back to you.
Well, Chip, for some folks, that's what it turns out to be.
So, the first thing about a high-speed pursuit is, yes, these dogs did run on the freeway. And I understand that that's a very, scary situation. Okay, if you've never been on a Hollywood freeway of any sort, Los Angeles freeway, Orange County freeway, anything like that, there are about 6 lanes across. Okay, let's start with that. If a high-speed pursuit is going on, the police are always tailing behind the vehicles. So, when the pit maneuver happened and this vehicle came to a stop, all the cars that were ahead of this chase obviously kept going. All the cars behind all these police are stopped. So these dogs are running on the freeway. Now, yes, I can see where one of the problems could be that they could have jumped over a medium to oncoming traffic, which is also another 6 lanes on the other direction.
But most of the time that's stopped too.
Most of the time it is. And at that point, most likely will be. The dog never, none of the 6 dogs or whatever the number was, did not jump over the medium. Every dog was accountable. No harm ever did come of these dogs. Now, the POS person who was involved in this, you know, the sad part was, you know, they were due in court. They didn't go to court. They had a warrant out for their arrest because they missed court for the dog that actually chewed its own paw, which I thought that was absolutely the most gruesome thing. I mean, to think that whatever was wrong with the dog, it actually was able to chew its own paw. I mean, oh God. So I'm hoping that they ended up dropping the soap in the shower and they're, you know, gonna get theirs. But, and they will. But it's like, you're, all you had to do was pull over. That's all you had to do. Yeah, you have a warrant out for your arrest. You're gonna end up going to jail for.
But it'll be a hell of a lot less problems than doing it now.
Right now, you have a felony evasion. Now, I don't know. Well, let's start with the felony evasion. How it started. Now, this is what, 6 years almost. Back then, when we lived there, it was a mandatory 5 years just for the evasion part alone, plus any bit that they tack on for your violations you did.
Failing to stop at a red light, failing to yield, you know, switching lanes without your blinker. I mean, in California,
manslaughter, driving over 100 miles an hour.
Yep. And all these are just piled on and piled on. And yes, I understand our judicial system decides to knock off years. They give somebody 15 life, you know, consecutive life terms.
Sentences.
Yeah. And
they're on 5 years.
Yeah. 4 of them get knocked down,
Yeah.
and then you get 2 more taken off for good behavior. I'm sorry, no good behavior is worse than someone else.
If you're a non-offender and you're in for something mild, then a good behavior I'm fine with. But I'm sorry, if you're tacked on for, a very large crime, I don't want to hear good behavior.
Right.
Go away. I mean, if it was us, I'm pretty sure even if it was jaywalking, we probably would get 20 to life, and we would serve 20 to life.
What I don't understand in this situation is that why didn't she just stop?
Because she thought that she would get away. They always think they're going to get away.
Before that, she shouldn't have any more pets with her because of what happened. It's like, for one, pit bulls. Like, pit bulls.
And they were sweet, too.
And they need any more of a bad rap?
Yeah. But they were sweet. That's the whole thing. They were sweet. She's one of the idiots, most likely. And I know in the previous segment I said how in the West Coast and the East Coast people treat their dogs well. She's probably a transplant. I doubt she grew up there.
Yeah.
Because normally, they're not that bad. Now, the dogs, all the other dogs, I saw what the dogs looked like. They all look great. They were all very friendly, very sweet. I mean, when the police were trying to actually corral them, and animal control tried to corral them, they weren't trying to bite at them. And I saw it from the cameras, from the helicopter camera. They were more or less playful, like, hey, more people to play with. Look at all this room to run. Now with that, it's like, there you go. With come and get me, well, tag. It's like the kids on the soccer field playing tag. They were all fine. I would venture out and say this person probably breeds these dogs.
Yeah.
That would be
very, very safe to say.
Yeah, that's my guess. Probably lives in Kentucky or something like that, and in a more of an out area. And
yeah, I can see that happening in Fontana.
I can. And she was doing court in Orange County, so it's look at the area in Orange County. I mean, you just drive a little bit out on the 55, and you got yourself into more of the countryside, even though
it gets towards Ontario and stuff.
Ontario.
If they wanted to.
Yeah. So I thought it was hysterical to think about this. Nobody got hurt. The idiot is behind bars. Of course, the end of these reporters, folks, with their last parts. Well, I guess she's in the doghouse. Really? You're trying too hard. You're a reporter. Leave the comedy to me.
Come up with something fresh.
You're right. Oh. So, yeah. that's pretty much all I have to say on that. Sorry. Anything else? Anything you want to end on that one? No? No? Oh, well, that ends GND News for this week. And now, with the roar of the crowd behind us, that can only mean one thing. Guess the breed.
Guess the breed. With your host, Chris Green.
Hello, contestant, and how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing good.
She's like, what? Okay, this week on Guess the Breed, I like to always give some. I want this to be informative with a lot of information, but I also want you to think about a little bit more. So this week, I chose a dog from a Hollywood movie. Sound good, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, I'm gonna say yes, you do groom this breed of dog. So let's just get that out of the way.
Often?
You see it. You see him. Okay. So this breed of dog, I'm gonna tell you a couple bits of attributes of the dog itself that was in this movie. The dog was a female. Was born November 17th, 1923 in Chicago, Illinois. Now you're probably saying to yourself, why do I care about this? Because it's relevant to my story, okay? Okay. The dog passed away September 1st, 1945 at the age of 11 in Hollywood because obviously it was an acting dog. The dog was in 2 different movies. I will only tell you one of them because if I told you the other one, it totally would give it away. But one of the movies was Bright Eyes.
What?
Bright Eyes. The years active.
Like that means anything to me.
The years. I wasn't going to give you the main movie. The other part that I wanted to tell you was this dog worked from 1934 to 1942. This dog is iconic. Now I'm going to give you the attributes of this particular dog. The weight of this dog is 10 to 16 pounds. In height, 9 to 13 inches. Its coat is abundant, shaggy outer coat, soft, downy undercoat. Can be cream, deep red, brindle, light gray, or black. I think you have an answer.
Karen Terrier?
Swing, swing.
Yeah, it is correct. Its other notable actual movie that this particular dog made was the
Wizard of Oz?
Very good. The Wizard of Oz, yes. It was named Toto in the movie. I just thought
And you know what's kind of funny too? Is that if you look at Toto, Toto is one of those true Cairn Terriers. You look at them now, they're nothing like it.
You never really see them like that.
They became so overbred because of movies like Marley and Me. Everybody wants a Labrador. They want a light yellow or a more of a white Labrador.
Did you know that Marley and Me was number 3 on top dog movies of all time? Wizard of Oz was 4.
Wow. But they overbreed them. They take 2, and what I mean by overbreeding is when they take 2 dogs that aren't the best as a specimen for Cairn Terriers, and they breed them. And then someone gets a bright idea, I'm going to breed them too because there's, Cairn Terriers are so cool. They're a little purse dog. And then they overbreed them. And then, or they breed them. And so then you take this Toto, which is a beautiful Cairn Terrier, and they change them. And so now a Cairn Terrier is like 30 pounds. 25, 30 pounds. And they are still the same colors, which is kind of crazy. But their faces are more narrow. Their hair doesn't stick up like they should. Their hair has become more of a Maltese soft feeling instead of the wiry coat like it's supposed to be. So you look up what Toto looks like and look up a modern day Cairn Terrier. Completely different. Sorry.
No, I loved it.
It's the same thing with Labradors. Labrador retrievers, they were really super, mellow, relaxed, calm, and then they start breeding them. the ones that are super hyper, always going, never behaves, not very good at listening, and
Sounds just like me.
right? Well, they constantly reproduce those dogs, and then we have a psychotic lab that doesn't want to stand still, versus a lab that is more self-controlled, easier to train. Yeah, so.
Well, thank you for playing. Guess the breed.
And now a moment with Claire. Talk.
Bo?
Fire truck?
I didn't ride the fire truck, you did.
You're gonna ask the question.
Who's your daddy? Oh, so Claire, you got to ride a fire truck today. And how was school? No. How was the ride? Was it cool?
Tell us all
Yeah.
about it.
Well, if you ride in the fire truck, maybe the fireman let you turn the lights on.
Okay, we'll start off at the beginning. Start at the beginning this morning.
What do you think when you first got in the truck and you got to sit down? Where were you sitting? Sitting. Or seating?
The first seat.
The front seat?
Yeah.
Okay, when you saw the truck, what did you think?
I think that it was stopping to pick me up.
Well, yes, but when you first saw it, were you excited?
Yeah.
I mean, you knew this was gonna
I was
happen.
running though.
You were?
Running. Yeah.
Okay, and then you got into the fire truck. What was it like inside the fire truck?
It was actually kind of big in there.
They can't see a picture, honey.
No hands, no pictures.
Okay, so you're in the fire truck. What did you ask the fireman?
I asked him, what time do you get up?
Okay, you asked them what time they got up, and what'd they say?
They say at 15:04.
15:04. Okay, that's military time. That means 3:04 p.m.
So I don't think it's that. You told me 7:30.
Oh, 7:30, I forgot.
Okay, so they told you that they got up at 7:30.
Mhm.
Okay. What other questions did you ask?
I asked them, do you have a fire dog?
Do you have a fire dog? Now, do you know what kind of dog is a fire dog?
Almost like a police dog.
Nope. That would be a German Shepherd or a Malinois.
Huh?
Now, on a fire dog, that's a 101 Dalmatian.
Dalmatian.
Yep. Okay. So
You're
what?
the microphone.
So what else?
People don't know you're the microphone.
Is it right? Okay. So what else happened?
Well, then I got to turn on the lights.
You got to turn on the lights. Now you didn't know Mommy and I were driving behind you the whole time filming it.
I didn't see you guys.
I always wondered. I was telling Mommy. I said, I wonder if the fireman was going, why are we being followed?
They did.
Did they? Did the guy say something?
Mhm.
Like what?
Why are they following us?
Well, I'm surprised you didn't say because my Mommy and Daddy film everything.
Everything in the whole universe.
Well, we only film things that pertain to you. So when you got to turn on the lights, what was that like?
Awesome.
Was it pretty cool?
Yeah.
How close were you to the school when you turned it on?
I was like 4 inches long.
4 inches long?
You're real close, right?
Aren't you glad I didn't say banana?
Sorry, folks.
She lost track. She's losing track all of a sudden.
Normally this is nap time for her.
I know.
I'm gonna take a pee.
So, okay. So once you got
you just took my hat and threw it forward. Now I'm gonna have to go fetch that.
Good luck.
I know. Okay.
All right. So, who greeted you once you got out of the fire truck? Once you were at school?
Mr. Fiddly.
And
Well, when I got out of the fire truck, he gave me something.
what did he give you?
Sticky hand.
Sticky hand. Cool.
Listen.
And And then I saw all their teachers were standing there, and some of your friends were there.
Well, Trevor was there. He didn't know.
But they all seemed like they were really happy, and they all walked in with you to school. That was cool. All right, well, by the looks of Claire and her vast majority to want to go to sleep now, I guess this will be...
Claire, play that clip.
Nope, that's not actually the moment.
You can tell when she's tired when she can't exactly focus.
Right, well, you know, what's funny is she makes all these clips, so she knows what they're supposed to be for, but you know what, we're really proud of you, honey, and we wanted to tell you that. And when you got home, what did you get? You had a little surprise waiting for you at home. What was it?
A picture.
Uh-huh. What's the picture of? They can't see it. It's a podcast.
No picture. No picture.
You got a picture of you standing in front of the fire truck, and it was in a frame wrapped up for you. So when you got home, you actually got to see that.
Mm-hmm. And I can put where my food is.
No, it's not where your food is. It's right in the little area where your bed is. All right. Well, thank you, honey. We love you. Well, that was our darling little Claire right there telling us all about her big adventure this week. I have to actually, you know, side note and really thank everybody involved this week. You know, I made the video, which was, you know, more of an appreciation. Thank you guys for what you did. And of course, I'm one of those people that documents everything. I like to document it all with videos and pictures and stuff like that. Sarah's giving me this the absolute worst grin on her face right now, like, yeah, you document everything. No, I do not document my poo. Okay, that's the only thing I don't document. I know you were thinking.
The first tissue she's ever used to wipe a tear off her face is in a frame or waiting to be framed.
It's not. But
are you kidding me?
Oh, okay. See, I'm a little bit more nostalgic. I like to hang on to something.
You have a very nice Anaheim Duck jersey that I want to try to go get the stains off of.
How dare you?
And you don't want me to remove the stains.
How dare you? Explain why I do not want the stains removed.
Well, because Claire had, she was born with acid reflux, and she had a real problem with it, so she was on several different medicines, and she spat up all the time.
Right.
We could never keep nice clothes on her because of her speeding up.
Spitting up, not speeding, spitting.
Whatever.
I'm gonna get you back for all that you're giving me.
I worked my tail off before we got here. Now I'm tired. So so when we took her to duck games, you had her in her harness.
Yes, I had her in a baby Bajorn.
Is that what it's called?
Yes, that's what it's called.
De jour means family.
Anyways.
I wanna be
so I had her always.
Josie and the Pussycats.
Why don't we do have that movie, don't we? Okay, I thought so. I was like, that's one of the best movies. Sorry. We would go regularly to duck games because we lived in Anaheim, so we would go all the time.
And tickets were like a couple bucks.
Yeah, it was cheap, and it's harder to go to games here because it's over 100 miles away,
yeah, right.
And I don't really
$40 a ticket.
Yeah, so it's a little bit more expensive. So,
and yet they're not as good as ducks.
Yeah, and I grew up a duck fan.
Just saying.
I personally, I have two sports teams I follow religiously. One is the Ducks, and it's been since day one. Even now, right now in 2016, from the 15-16 season, they have been terrible, and I'm still a loyal Duck fan. And the Cardinals. I love my St. Louis Cardinals. They're the only two sports teams I care about. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is we would go to duck games. We'd bring her with us. Actually, at that point, it was so funny because people in the concession stands, they remembered us. They were like, oh, you guys are here for another game because we were there a lot.
And we always sat in the same area, so we went to the same concession stands.
Yeah, it was always the same thing. So the thing is that just like all babies, but a little bit more hyper than most, her acid would cause her to throw up. So she threw up all over this jersey.
And it'll be right after giving them medicine, so there's stains all over this jersey.
And I will never get rid of this jersey. And how dare
I get rid of it? I just want to clean it up.
No. I love that.
So back to you documenting her trip and.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that. You sidebarred there.
Sorry.
Yeah, so I wanted to make sure we covered it all. I mean, I had the GoPro set up.
I feel so bad for you. You were getting this GoPro set up on our dashboard, and you had this Velcro. You had it all planned out. You got it ready the night before because you wanted to make sure that Claire never misses a thing. Because has anybody ever thought about all the cool things they missed when they were kids because they can't remember it?
Right.
Well, now we have documentation. Hey, Claire, look, you've been to Chicago. You've been to Disneyland. You've been to all these places.
You were on a cruise ship.
You were on a cruise ship.
You don't remember any of these, but you were there.
You've been to Mexico.
Well, that's not really something to be proud of, okay?
Well, she stayed on the ship in Mexico. She never actually went with us. But, mind you, she was with her great-grandma.
Yeah.
Not just...
Yeah, we didn't leave her on the ship. But there are nurseries that you could put...
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I would have probably done that. So your grandma can enjoy Mexico, too.
I don't think she ever wanted to leave the ship either.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, so... you had this GoPro ready to go, and you're like, okay, let's get a car.
Okay, let me explain this though. Let me set this up. So, now the video was put up, and it had been shared from. It was wildly shared. It was like on fire this week. It's so amazing. I got flooded with messages on thanks. It was awesome. But to get there, here's what happened. When you start the video, you notice Claire's walking out the front door. It was freezing.
Oh, the
freezing
cold.
It was Tuesday, so it was right before the storm was supposed to hit. So we were. I think the temperature was about 10 degrees.
I don't know, but
it was in the teens. I know it was in the teens, but it was freezing.
10's not exactly teens, but okay.
10 to whatever.
So.
And the point of the matter is, it was freezing. So when she goes out to the fire truck, it's pretty much one of those. You don't mess around during these times. You get in. So we got a couple photos, but it was we got to go. So my whole goal was to take off and follow the truck. Well, she got in the truck, and they're gone. They are gone.
Yeah, because she got up and she got belted in. And let me tell you, folks, Claire does not buckle quickly. She messes around.
Yeah.
She gets herself all nice and comfy.
She takes her backpack off.
She takes a while to find the...
Looks out the window.
Right. So she got up there, sat there perfectly still, so the person was able to put the seatbelt on. And she was standing there, just sitting there so proud. I'm like, why can't you do this in our car?
Right. So that was the amazing time that I thought was amazing. But they took off so quickly. I'm like, get in the car. So we're almost Dukes of Hazzarding into the car. And I set the GoPro up. I thought it was all ready to go. And I'm one of those people, I don't trust one piece of technology. I like to shoot in multiple different cameras. So as I'm driving, my camera phone is on. And Sarah's like, this is not smart. I'm like, I've done it so many times. Just
because
I did it in a foreign country.
You're skipping a huge part here. The GoPro that I was talking about. You went up and over what I was saying.
Go for it.
So,
you explain that part.
Even though I explained part of it, and you totally cut me off. Like you
always cut me off.
You cut me off.
Now
so
just
often.
tell the story.
Anywho, so since I was feeling bad about this, now I'm not.
You are still.
The GoPro wasn't working quite right because you had the Velcro on the dashboard and the Velcro on the GoPro, so you can place a GoPro.
Well, it's not. It wasn't on the GoPro. It's on its actual. There's multiple different
Whatever,
stands.
Doesn't matter. Get it Velcro to the dashboard so we can take off and press the button record.
Right.
Well, the Velcro didn't work. It wasn't adhering to the actual dashboard.
Right.
And then the GoPro just fell.
Fell off. It didn't fall to the floor. It just kind of tipped over on the dash.
So I pick it up and I'm holding on to this GoPro, praying that the auto adjust catches and so it's not bouncing around. And
the stabilizers are great on those.
So I press record, and kind of find out afterwards, everything was said and done. All it was doing is taking pictures.
Well, what happened was that, and you didn't know this is not your fault. I'm going to say this right now.
I tried to help.
This is not your fault, but you pushed the button that actually moves it from video.
Well, I asked them, did I press this button? You were like, yeah, that one. And I pressed it, and it turned red.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't your fault. It was. It could have happened.
Oh, I know.
It could have happened when. So, luckily, I have my camera phone up and I'm recording as I'm driving. Now, sir, like I said, Sarah's like, let me hold that. It's like, no. I gotta hold this because I'll know it's recording. Like I said, I don't trust.
He doesn't trust me.
I don't trust one piece of technology, especially something that's very important. So, filming that was amazing. Was a lot of fun. But the part that I wanted to really kind of topic on is, I didn't do it to get, people thanking me, to say how great it was. I wasn't doing it for that reason. I didn't want to do it. I wasn't doing it for attention. Let's put it that way. I did it because, one, I really appreciate the opportunity for Claire. I wanted to document this moment for her and, preserve it. So that was the whole thing. So making the movie out of appreciation for all that were involved in it was what I was trying to do. And it turned into this, they were appreciative for me being appreciative kind of moment. And it was a great thing. I mean, it really surged. I couldn't believe how many people have actually watched it. That shocked me.
And what's cool is that our community gets together and they allow this to happen.
Yes.
Because obviously this is taxpayers' dollars.
Yeah.
And it's something that is it's super special.
Yeah. It's a moment she's never going to forget.
Yeah, each kid from each school, there's 3 elementary schools in this area, and each kid, one each quarter, gets to go to school in a fire truck.
Which is awesome.
It's fantastic. I never got that opportunity.
No.
Where I was, nobody cared. And here,
I gotta look in the paper today because today would be the last day that I would think they would have put it in.
Yeah, we gotta get it. I don't know where it's at, but I don't know. I just am so thankful that they did this. And Claire just did what she loved doing. She loved going to school. It was nothing different for her.
No, going to school for her is not a chore. It's actually a privilege. She does enjoy it.
And she gets extremely angry when she doesn't get to go to
like
school.
The next day when we had a snow day, and thankfully it held one day. One day. It's all it needed to hold on to is one day, and it did. So she was able to do it. So very appreciative. I really loved it. I mean, her kindergarten teacher had shot a couple pictures, and she was so cool about getting in touch with us right away. Hey, I got this, and really happy. I mean, it's fun to actually see her, even her current teacher sent me a message thanking me and loving the video and stuff like that. We do the podcast with Claire, for Claire, to educate everybody. Another part about putting the podcast intro on that video is that podcast intro for the Groomer Next Door. That's all Claire. She loves that. She literally is the Groomer Next Door. Like, she lives and breathes this podcast, which is funny.
Yeah, it is quite funny.
You ask her, what's your hobby? It's like, I'm on a podcast. And she's been doing this since she was 5.
Wait until she wants to do one of her own.
I don't know. I think she wants to just kind of sit in on this one because that's what she likes to do.
Yeah, because she's kind of like ADD.
She doesn't want it. It would be hard for her to carry on a full show.
So we do want to thank everybody that made it possible for our daughter to have a lifetime memory.
Yeah.
And getting to go to school in a fire truck.
Right. Well, by that sound of the audience, that means this week's show is over. So, I'm Chris Green. Have a pet-tastic week.
And I'm Sarah Green, making sure everybody realizes life is so short. Play with your pet.
Claire?
Have a good day with your pet. Goodbye.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Okay, gotta go in my bedtime.
It's without doubt worst episode ever. Rest assured that I was on the internet within minutes, registering my disgust throughout the world.
All right, good show, everybody. That's a wrap.